Alright, it is Vlogmas day 10, and I've put together a unrealistic, to be honest, TBR. One, because a lot of times I never stick to them, but a lot of these are in my 40 before 40, so I have to read these. Specifically, I am going to try and read at least 10 of the 40 before 40 because I have another year after that that I could read more in. So the first book is Station 11, which I haven't heard a whole lot about, but I know a lot of people liked it. From what I know, it is about a group of traveling performers, I believe, like actors, singers, that kind of thing, who go around performing after like a global pandemic. So that sounded kind of interesting. Next is The Book Thief, and from what I know, this is narrated by Death, and it takes place during the Holocaust, and it is about a family who hides a Jewish man and a little girl who steals books. I think she was adopted or something by this family. I've been getting more into historical fiction, and I love me a sad book. I really do. Then there's Winter Girls. I really like Speak by the same author, Laurie Halse Anderson. Um, Winter Girls is about a girl with an eating disorder, and I know her friend also had one, and in the beginning, her friend has died. So, sad, realistic fiction. The Count of Monte Cristo. So, I've been wanting to read more classics. I just never did when I was younger, and now I'm trying to catch up. There's a lot of mixed stuff, opinions when it comes to classic literature. Some problematic things, but also some people find them kind of dull or whatever. I'm definitely struggling with some just because I'm used to reading more modern text. But like I said before, I want to expand on different genres, times, writing styles, all that kind of stuff. And The Count of Monte Cristo seems to be liked by a lot of people. Like, it's a thick book. And I don't hear too many complaints about it. I mean, I think some people might have said parts of it can drag, but that's a lot of books. Even modern books have their draggy moments, but most people seem to like this story, so I'm very interested in starting it. As someone who is very interested in mythology and just different tales around the world, folk tales, urban legends, all that kind of stuff, um, it only seems fitting that I would put the Iliad and the Odyssey on some kind of list, right? And why not do it on the 40 before 40? Uh, this might be the oldest story on this list. Uh, I was kind of confused about which one I should read first, but apparently it's the Iliad. Like, I've heard more in, like, retellings about the Odyssey and everything, from The Simpsons to other things, but I've never actually read them, the original text itself. Well, I suppose not original text, but you get what I mean. Frankenstein. So I read part of this a while back, and I really need to finish it because I was liking the writing style on that, and I love the quotes that I've read from this. So it's time to just read through the whole thing because I know this is going to be an excellent story. This is another classic that people seem to really like. Jane Eyre, another one that I started and for some reason just never went back to. I don't remember what happened. It wasn't that I wasn't liking the book. I think I just didn't have time to read it, or I had to take it back or something. But I was liking how the story was starting out. I was liking the writing style, the flow of the story and everything. So I definitely want to read this one next year. The Night Circus, much like historical fiction, I'm getting more into fantasy, and this apparently is about a circus that only appears at night. It just sounds really interesting, and it sounds like it's going to be in a style that I will like. Lord of the Rings. So I just finished The Hobbit not long ago, and I liked it. It was a fun story. Um, I've seen bits of the movies for Lord of the Rings. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched like the whole thing. But they looked interesting. They looked a little bit more serious than, The Hobbit, but that's what I hear too. I marked this as one book on my list. I know sometimes it's bound together as one, sometimes it's read as a trilogy. I'm not going to count it as read until I have read the entire thing. That's how I'm doing it for this one. Now we're going to talk about the series that I want to finish, which, like I said, this is where it's starting to be unrealistic. One of those is the Unwind trilogy. No, not trilogy, Dystology, I think that's what it's called. It's 4 books, not 3. I know there's, I think, like a short story collection or whatever and some other things, but it is mainly 4 books. And this takes place after a war between pro-life people and pro-choice, and the result is being able to unwind children at the age of 13, because they're considered alive in divided states, and it follows kids who are set to be unwound. It's dark. The first one was interesting. The problem is you know, with life going on right now, I use a lot of audiobooks, and they don't have audiobooks for these. You'd think they would, but they don't. The next 2 are both by Liva Bray. So this first one is a Gemma Doyle trilogy, which I think that was like the first book she published. I could be wrong, but I read A Great and Terrible Beauty, and I liked it. This is basically fantasy or supernatural stuff. I was maybe more supernatural and historical fiction. I believe it took place in the 1800s. I could be a little off, but it's about a girl named Gemma who, God, it's been so long since I read the book, but I know she has a vision. Her mom dies, and then she finds out like secrets about herself and everything, like she has powers and stuff. I think they were considered witches. I might just reread the first book because it's been a while since I read it, and I liked it, so I might just read the whole dang thing again. Then there is The Diviners, which is a series that takes place in the 1920s, and the first book revolves around a girl named Evie who is sent away after some things happen, and Evie has this ability to, if I remember correctly, take objects and know like their history and everything. And there's different people in this book with different abilities and everything. And then there was like this murder mystery thing going on. And I was starting the second book. It was really interesting. Kind of creepy. But well written. Like I said, a little spooky at some points. I really liked the character. I thought Evie was a fun character. It was all really interesting. So I guess Liva Bray has like 2 historical fiction, paranormal, or supernatural books. Well, that's an interesting mix, right? A manga that I want to focus on next year is Inuyasha. I am on the 3rd book right now. I really like the TV show. I have not seen all the episodes, but I've seen a lot of them, and I really liked it. The first manga seemed like it was exactly like the episode. Well, I guess the episode would be exactly like the manga. So I think I'm really gonna like this one. I know I'm not gonna finish this one because there's probably, I don't know, at least 50 volumes. I could be wrong, but I know there's a lot. I am currently listening to the first Renegades book, and so far I like it. I don't know if it totally in my attention the same way the Lunar Chronicles did by Marissa Meyer, but it still has a really good concept to it. And I'm looking forward to finishing this one and going to the next books. This one revolves around a world of superheroes and a girl who is on the villain side. But of course, there's, a lot more to what she thinks is going on. Then on to my possible rereads. I want to reread Caraval. I listened to it once. I was also very busy when I was listening to it, but I did enjoy what I listened to. It's a fun series. Has its darker moments. There was definitely twists in finale that I didn't expect. So yeah, I want to reread those and then eventually move on to that spin-off series, Once Upon a Broken Heart. That picture there, I actually seen that set in Ollie's. I have not read that book Spectacular. I only read the basic trilogy, so I got to read Spectacular yet. The Hunger Games is probably my favorite series of all time. I used to read it at least once a year after I completed the original trilogy, and I was starting to do chapter by chapter reviews because I thought it would be kind of fun to take books that I've read a couple times and just do, a chapter by chapter breakdown. And I was doing that for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm going to try to get back to that. So if I'm going to be finishing any of the Hunger Games books next year, it's probably going to be that one. My favorite book is probably the first one, but I've read it so many times, I think I'm going to focus on Ballad right now. Then finally, I want to try and reread the Lunar Chronicles. Right now, I am going to be starting on Wires and Nerve Volume 2, which is the graphic novel that takes place after the series. I really enjoyed this series. It was just so much fun. But it was also dark and serious at a lot of times, too. Um, and I think because of the way the storytelling goes and the characters and probably even the book covers and everything, it doesn't seem like it would have serious moments or even some darker things going on, but it does. They're retellings of fairy tales, and it's like a sci-fi twist on fairy tales. But I liked that some things weren't happily ever after in some aspects, and there's going to be a movie coming out, and I just really hope that they don't ruin it, but I'm really excited to see it. It comes out in like 2-3 years, so we got some time to prepare for this. It's going to be animated, which I really like. I like that idea. So anyways, this is my unrealistic TBR for 2026. Let me know what you guys are going to be reading and if you've read any of these. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.